Hey, English 94, you made it through week 1. You all did an awesome job in our discussion. So I am really, really proud and excited about what we're going to do this semester. With that said, just a couple reminders. As you're posting in Google, please try not to delete or resolve anyone else's comment and make sure that you put your name in so that I can give you credit. But beyond that, everything looks good. So let's go ahead and get started with week 2. So it's Tuesday. That means you got an email from me, you clicked on the links, you're watching this video, and the very first thing that we're gonna do every week is to go to our Google Class space. So before we get into our discussion and this week's materials, I just wanted to make sure that you all understood some things about how this space is lined up. So here in our class readings and videos link, is everything that we're going to do for the class, right? So all of the readings are here. If there's ever anything that you want to come back to or you can't remember how to get to. Also, as we are starting the book, the novel, The Hate You Give this week, if you have not yet gotten the book, there are 2 links here that are going to be really helpful to you. The first is the one that says number 1. It's the link to the online version of the book. I will warn you, it is more difficult to read an entire book online. It doesn't kind of keep your bookmarks. You got to kind of think about like what page you're on, all that stuff. So hopefully you have the book already, but if not, at least this will give you the opportunity to not fall behind because you can go ahead and start reading with us. The second link you see here is going to take you to a page that has each of the chapters of the book read to you out loud on YouTube. So there are audiobooks. But this can work in a couple of different ways. So for some of you, you have really super busy lives, right? You can listen to a chapter while you're on the train going back and forth, while you're driving. If you're like me on Saturday mornings, cleaning the house, whatever works for you. So it can be helpful in terms of time management, but also in terms of comprehension. Sometimes we understand and we take more in when we're both reading it and following along in the book and hearing it by having that audio playing. So I just wanted you to know, in case you needed to, that all of these chapters are listed here for you as well. Again, those things are in our class reading and video section if you need to come back to them. The last thing that I want, or the next thing, I'm sorry, that I want to do is to go back to our overall class space and then to look at our class assignments, right? So here's where we start each week. You'll see as I open this up that week 2 is up and ready for you to go here. Each week, the current week, this is week 2, will be the first thing up. I haven't deleted anything from week 1. If you want to go back and look at what people said, it's beneath this. But the first thing that you'll always see in the doc is the most current thing. All right, so last week we started the book. This week we're moving on to chapters 3 through 5, and we have our first paper assignment. We also have a poem that we're reading this week called Nikki Rosa. It's by the phenomenal, incomparable, one-of-a-kind, amazing poet, Nikki Giovanni. So I really want you to read through it and think about how it speaks to some of the things that you might see going on within the community of Garden Heights. You also have to watch the videos 8 Strategies for Active Reading and Your Identity is Your Superpower. They're both fairly short and both very important, particularly the 8 Strategies for Active Reading, as we're going to come back to this video every week for the next 3 weeks as we think about how we implement those 8 strategies and what we're reading in the class. The Identity is Your Superpower is the topic of our first paper assignment, which we also got this week. So you'll want to take a look at that. I'll go ahead and click on it now so that you can see what it looks like. You'll see here that it tells you first, open the Google Doc in your Google folder, then make sure you've watched the video that I just told you about, my superpower, and then you're going to click and start writing. And I've given you some things that you can choose to write about, talking about your superpower, what is positive about your social identity as opposed to your personal identity, which is what we were talking about last week. There is also a video that overviews the assignment, so you can click on that link as well, and you'll hear me talking about, what I kind of expect or would like to see in your writing. So those things are all available to you. Last, the 2 things that you need to absolutely do this week. We're going to start with our drop-in conferences. So Tomorrow, Wednesday, June 14th, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Looking at your Google form, that was one of the most popular times. You can pop into Zoom and say hi. I'll be available to meet all of you or to address any questions that you might have. It might be just me and you in Zoom when you pop in. It might be me, you, and another classmate or two. It's really kind of open. We'll do this week and next week, and you are required to attend at one of those times. So hopefully you'll be able to do it this week, but we'll have at least 2 makeup times for next week in case you are not able to, or in case something goes wrong with Zoom, because this is part of the reason why we do it, to make sure that you do know how to access the Zoom links, that you're able to contact me for office hours or questions or conferences moving forward. So drop-in conference number 1. And then, as always, we have our discussion. This is our first discussion post about the actual novel. So after you've watched that video, 8 strategies for active reading, this week we're going to work with 3 of them you have to respond to. So it just simply says, as your reply to my comment, number your responses and type your answers to the following 3 things. And you can choose anything that you want to talk about from chapters 1 through 5 in this. So the first one talks about your overall reaction to the chapters. What do you think so far? In just one word, like, Number 2 says, vocabulary. Find a word that either is new to you or that you needed help with, or you think other people might struggle with, and you know what it means, and define it for me. The number 3 deals with the reading strategy of experience. I want you to identify an item from the readings in chapters 1 through 5 that reminds you of something from your own life. In other words, I can identify with that experience because I've experienced something similar, either myself, my family, people I know, things that I've seen or read about, where we are making those similar comparisons. So you'll see that my answers are on the side. For number 1, chapters 1 through 5 felt very familiar to me, felt a lot like something I would be involved with, good or bad, in high school. Number 2, the word that I chose to define was bougie. And then number 3, experiences. I'm talking about the part in chapter 1 where Star is talking about her overprotective big brother. And I have one that I know, he really thinks is my father. So I can identify with that experience and what that feels like because I have something similar in my life. All right, so that's it for week number 2. We're going to read our chapters. We're going to read over our paper assignment and start writing that in our student Google folders. We are going to pop in and say hi for our drop-in conferences, and then we're going to talk to each other about chapters 1 through 5 through our discussion posts and comments. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. Send me an email or pop in your conference and ask me there. Have a blessed week.